point is to elect a vice chair, and are there nominations for vice chair?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Representative Patrick from Rochester.
Representative Fitzpatrick is nominated.
Fitzpatrick, yeah,
Is there a second? Second by Representative Howard.
thank you.
Thank you. Are there further nominations? Further nominations for vice chair? Hearing none, I declare nominations closed and direct the clerk to cast one ballot for Representative Fitzpatrick as vice chair of the delegation for the coming term of 2023-24. Representative Fitzpatrick, will you please come up and sit beside you? That's vice chairman. And at this time, the next order of business is the nomination and election of the clerk for the delegation for the coming term. Nominations, Representative
I nominate Representative Rebecca Karen.
Representative Beck is nominated. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Cannon. Are there further nominations? Further nominations for clerk? Seeing none, I declare nominations closed and direct the clerk to cast one ballot for Representative Beck as clerk. Please come up and take your position. Thank you. Okay, so now comes the difficult part, because for those of you who are new, and for everybody else who hasn't done this for 2 years, the fact is the statute was changed. In the past, we just had 3 executive committee members from Dover, 3 from Rochester, 2 from Somersworth, and 4 from the towns. And that worked fine for many years. And it probably would still work, but the statute was changed at some point, which Representative Petrie became aware of and informed the delegation of a couple of years ago. And that complicates things because there are some, the reality is that the mathematics of the current split means that the Republicans get 6 members of the executive committee, right? Is that correct, Representative Petrie?
Right. And as a citizen.
Okay, so and that means with the 3 officers, that's 9. That means that there are going to be 6 Democrats as well. Now, the only entity that has the authority to make this decision is the delegation. I don't have the right to appoint the right people or extra people or whatever. The executive committee can't do it. Only the delegation has that authority. So how do we get to that? Okay, if we have just the exact number of people to fill out the empty slots, then the delegation is only rubber stamping what the executive committee has done. So I think that it's to avoid this rubber stamping aspect. The right way to do it is to have a couple of extra people, both from the Republican side, but also from the Democratic side, so that the delegation can decide which of the people that they want to fill out the necessary 6 and 6, so that we have the statutory requirement. Because you got to operate under the statute, right? Representative Newton, I think you.
Yeah, what if the Republicans have already decided who we want? Because there's issues here. A lot of people still work, and we meet in the morning. So what? Maybe the Democrats have to decide amongst more than the allotted number. But we, Representative Petrie makes go along with what I'm saying. But if we've made our choice of the numbers we're going to have, that I don't see any reason to drag this out for an hour.
Well, I don't want to drag it out either. Your point is well taken. Does anyone else want to speak to this issue? Because it is a factor, and we remember 2 years ago, we also had the same situation with trying to find people who could serve. Yes, Representative Bixby.
Okay, so we were emailed a set of procedures for doing this. And, I think that, the current item on our agenda is to, accept the executive committee selection process. So, I move that we, accept that process as it was sent out to us. And then and then after that, we can recess to the towns and cities, and among the towns and cities decide, who we're going to be putting up for the, board, the executive committee, and then, if the, Republicans have already, made their choices, then it should be fairly brief caucus that they have cities to be able to say, just bring those names forward.
Okay, just a comment, the next order of business that we've always done, and we did it the last time as well, was that the towns and cities would caucus. The Democrats, the Dover delegation is all Democratic, but we caucus over here and decide which, people want to serve on the executive committee along the lines of what you talked about. And the Rochester people typically were in this corner because you guys, the city should decide who they want to have on the delegation. And the procedure that we used the last time was, instead of three and 2 from Somersworth and 4 from the towns, that the cities would select 2 people from Rochester and Dover each, and 1 from Somersworth, and the towns would select 3, which would leave 4 people left over for us to, decide which ones we wanted. Because again, to respond to your point, the delegation is the one that has the right to decide who they want on the executive committee. So this issue that you brought up of trying to have people that can actually serve, and that's an important aspect, is one that we have Representative Southworth, and I'll recognize you. Go ahead.
Yes, just to clarify, we're on number 11, accepting the executive committee selection process. And we aren't sure we're going to choose it yet because we're talking about some different ideas. If they're already fairly sure, or their 6 people are, I don't know that that's their mental flow of the process. It seems like if they do their 6 and tell us who they are and where they're from, that when we do our caucus as a group, we can pick our 6, realizing already where their ones are from. It seems like it would be really confusing if you do it the way it was originally planned, now that we know that they picked their 6.
Well, it is a problem to try to make it work, but the
But I
statute.
think we could, if we have the names and where they're from, then we could work around that in our caucus. I think that'd be a lot faster than having everyone mixed up, and that's just my sense.
Well, the motion on the floor, as you know, is to adopt the way it's proposed. We don't have to do that. We can clearly what's that? Okay, you're withdrawing your motion, and Representative.
Another issue with that is, we've got one of our districts had Rochester and Milton as the district. So when they're representing Milton, it's just, so that's a flaw in what we're trying to do here in some cases.
Right, well, Dover has the same situation with Madbury and Lee, in Ward 4. So that's the district that the legislature, the districting scheme that the legislature has adopted. That's the law, and so we have to deal with that. And I'm open to to suggestions of how we resolve it. Did I see it, Representative? You have your hand up?
No. Our precedent has been maybe it's fuzzier in the laws that we go by the community of residents of the member. I know for many years, Commissioner Rollo, she's Representative Rollo, always on the executive committee, and her district was always Wallensburg plus wards, Somersworth and Dover. So
Well, it's, so other proposals in terms of, anyone wants to speak to the situation because we don't want to be here all night, but, Representative
I
Paul.
was planning to, but your precedent has been is where you live. And I'm one of the ones who has part city and part town, so it's where you live. It means the person that we have to represent all, the former representative.
Anyone else?
Do we have,
Representative.
do we have already a chart that breaks it down somewhat by cities and so on? So that your names can just be plugged into that chart, and we can see where the gaps are.
Well, we already know. I think that the old system.
Well, no, Peter, I'm just saying, if we had their names and it ended up there was one from Rochester, whatever, we plugged them into the chart of what you're looking for in the 12, we would see where the gaps are for the others. It shouldn't be very hard to do.
Well, the bottom line is the statute requires the exact ratio of the delegation. So it's going to be 6 and 6 and the 3 officers. That's what it's going to be under the statute. We can't do anything about that.
But to me, it's just a matter of having a chart, having their names where they go, maybe you have that already. And then just plugging in the 6 of us, that still with the cities, towns, and so on.
Okay, Representative Turcott. Yeah. go ahead.
Yes, thanks. Question, are there, I know you guys are talking about past precedent and what has gone on. Are there any special rules or any bylaws that have ever been adopted that actually delineates how this body appoints these individuals?
I only know the 20 years I've been here, and we always did it with 3 representatives from Rochester, 3 representatives from Dover, 2 from Somersworth, and 2 from the town, and it always worked out that there were Republicans and Democrats. But now the statute says there has to be this ratio, well, we're stuck with that to some degree, but again, the delegation is the one, and I'm not here to dictate the result that we're going to have, except that the statute says going to be 6 Republicans, therefore going to be 6 Democrats plus 3 officers. Representative.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Really, what is passed is prologue. What's happened before is, just the beginning. Now we're in the next chapter. And the next chapter has to conform with the current law. Representative Petrie was on the task and pointed out to us the requirements that we now have to face. In answer to Representative Turcott's question, this, as in many areas, reflects the conflict that we have in that we all wear 2 hats. We pass laws in Concord, and then we come to each of our counties as delegates and don't like the laws that were passed. I mean, the clearest way we see it is in the budget. We're not going to spend money on X, Y, or Z. And then we come here and we say, we want money on X, Y, or Z in our county. So no, there are no rules of procedure. If you were in charge or if I were in charge, because we're detail people, we would have liked there to be rules. Right now, you have taken some steps to help us move along so that we don't have to end up here at 11 o'clock at night. Would you, my Republican colleagues, be willing to share with the rest of the delegation, people who happen to be Democrats, who you would like? Because we're going to respect who you would like. We're not going to in any way interfere with that choice. So if you would tell us that, then we would know, okay, we don't have to begin at square one, we can begin at square 7, so to speak, and say, okay, we need 1 more person from a town here, we need 2 more people from a city there. And then we will make sure that your 6 people are acknowledged, and then go on from there. That's, I think, all we're asking. Does that make sense to you? Huh?
Absolutely.
So if the chair would be willing to agree to that,
Well, it's
then,
not, it's not for me to read. Representative Bixby, followed by Representative.
well,
I move that we follow the procedure just laid out by Representative Smith.
Okay, is there a second for that?
I did not hear what you said.
Okay.
Repeat it.
I move that we follow the procedure just laid out by Representative Smith.
Okay, Representative Bixby second. Bickford, further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we got this. Okay, so go ahead. Let's let them announce their own things. Okay, I'm sure. Who wants to speak on that?
I'll speak to that.
Okay, just Representative Bixby.
Right, let me see if we can get this from, from District 1 is Peachtree, from District 2 is Bailey and Burnham. From District 6, Washington, Ward 2 is Newton. District 18 from Barrington, Middleton, and Durham, Strafford, I believe he's from Strafford, and Harrington. And District 19 was both Rochester is Kansas.
Okay, so Representative Newton is currently on the executive committee, for those of you who are new. Representative Harrington is currently in the previous term.
Mr. Chair,
Representative Trelev.
thank you, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Representative Petrie has a wonderful voice, but he doesn't have a microphone, so I could not hear the names that he said. Would you repeat them, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Peachtree, Bailey, Burnham, Newton, Harrington, Potenza.
Did I get all of them, Representative, that's six, then, that's it. Yeah. Right. Okay, did you get all that? Did you get?
I did.
all-
Thank you.
Okay, so Representative Harrington was on the executive committee, and experience. Representative Petrie was on the executive committee, Representative Lewis was on the executive committee. That's three, so we have some experience and some dispersal of the people from various different communities. That's one of the advantages of the old system, is we had people from all the towns of all cities. So, and then the new people would be Representative Burnham. Can you hold up your hand so the people on the Zoom can see? Okay. And then Representative Potenza, I believe was the other name.
And Bailey, you missed Bailey, one Bailey.
Sorry, Bailey is also a former member of the executive committee, so we have some experience. When you say that, Representative Smith, those are the people that the Republicans have selected.
okay, and now, could you clarify for me? Are we still trying to make sure that we have a balance among that represents each of the cities and then the towns as grouped together? Is that still the will of this delegation?
Well, Representative Potenza, you're from Rochester, I believe.
Correct.
Representative Burnham, where are you from?
Milton.
Milton, okay, so that's one of the cities. Representative Petrie is from Farmington. Representative Harrington is from Strafford. Representative Newton is from Rochester, and you got Depot. And Representative Bailey is from Milton.
Yes.
Milton. So we have a couple of people from the towns, a couple of people from Rochester, and the Democrats, you know, have their pick of 6 people, and Somersworth and Dover haven't been nominated yet, but they we can decide who we want in the next process. Representative
I move that we break for a caucus for the Democrats and decide on the members that we would like to.
I think that's the only way to do it.
I understand that should be something.
Is that okay? The Republicans okay with that? Okay, good. Right.
This is a list of the delegation.
Right. Well, the temporary clerk is keeping track of, the names that have been put forward by the Republicans over there. And let's, have at it, so the Republicans, if they would give us a few minutes, that would be appreciated, okay?
I could say.
I'm not here. We're sitting here.
That's right.